Hey, how you doing? Tim here. I've got a new cartoon I want to work on with you for a little bit. See what you think. And as usual, I've got it in the scanner here. Let me see if I can go ahead and get that going. And we'll kind of go through the cartoon a little bit and see what you think. Okay. This cartoon is a Memorial Day cartoon. I want to scan it as a TIFF. Let me see, 300 DPI. Okay. And hang on here just a second. Let you take a look at it and see what you think. Okay, here we go. Like I said, this is a Memorial Day cartoon. On occasion, editorial cartoonists will do a cartoon kind of like honoring something, some event or a holiday. Some cartoonists do obituary cartoons when somebody famous passes away. They'll do a cartoon on that event. But typically, I like to do a cartoon on politics or an opinion about some issue or something like that. But when it comes to Memorial Day and things like that, Veterans Day, if I can come up with an idea that kind of honors veterans and people that served, I really do kind of like to do that. So anyway, let me go ahead and get it going here in Photoshop. And we'll see what you think here. Okay. Here we go. Let me scooch me out of the way a little bit here. Okay. Rotate it clockwise. Okay. Not sure if you can see it quite yet. Let me go ahead and darken it just a bit here. And then I'll kind of talk about it a little bit. Okay. There you go. Let's see. What I've got here is really just a simple image, and color's going to help this a little bit. It's just a section of Uncle Sam. I've got him kind of just standing there. You don't really see his face or anything like that, but he's just simply holding his hat, kind of in showing some reverence for the occasion. And I'm going to have some copy on the cartoon that'll kind of connect the dots that it's Memorial Day, and it's going to actually say "Remember the Fallen." So that's basically what it is. The cartoon will be fairly simple color-wise. It's really just going to be red, white, and blue. Just a simple statement. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. So let me go ahead and just do a little bit of coloring on it, and maybe go ahead and work on the type as well. But first of all, let me get the cartoon cleaned up a little bit here and see if I can't get my little eraser tool out here and get rid of some of the lines that I've got going around the outside. Just go ahead and make that fairly big. There we go. This cartoon, well, actually, today is Tuesday the 22nd. This cartoon is going to be in the current newspapers, and since it is Memorial Day and those papers come out on Tuesday, typically, since there is a Monday holiday with no mail, this cartoon will actually come out this Saturday. So it'll come out just before Memorial Day. On occasion that happens, and I'll have an early deadline and kind of work it from there. You know, I have to get something done. So, but if I know about it ahead of time, I can usually get a jump on this and take care of that. So I think I've got it fairly cleaned up here. Let me go ahead and darken a little bit more. And push the contrast again. If I haven't explained what I'm doing here, I'm going over here to the image and then adjustments. I'll go to brightness and contrast, and if you can see right here, it's got brightness and contrast, and I typically will just start off with 25 on each. What that does is it helps to push the dark and the light. And then I'll enlarge it a little bit and see where it's at, see if there's any little smudgy marks that I want to get rid of, or if I need to push the contrast or anything a little bit further. I can see a little bit of an issue right there. But overall, it looks pretty much like what I want. I don't see anything jumping out at me right at the moment that I want to correct. One thing I will do with this cartoon is I will probably have it fade top and bottom. I want to leave a little bit of white up here and a little bit of white down here. And these lines, let's just go ahead and start with the top ones here. They're probably not all on the same exact horizontal line, imaginary line. So what I can do is I can actually drag a guideline right down here, and it should turn blue when I release the cursor, and it did. And if you can see that, now I can go ahead and just kind of erase everything right at that line. Now, again, I can do this at the very end of the cartoon, but typically if I can do something like this to begin with, it just makes things go a little bit smoother, a little bit cleaner. I'm kind of setting the parameters early as to what I want to do. Now I will go down to the bottom here and do the same thing. Let me get me out of the way. And you do that by taking your cursor right up here to the top where the ruler is, and you can drag this line down right here. And when you release it, it will turn a non-photo blue, I believe, or a cyan blue. And then I can go through, like I said, and just kind of get rid of the little black lines that are going over that, and then I've got a fairly straight break on the cartoon. It'll look a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater, not so messy, I guess. And so when I'm coloring this, I will actually use that as well as far as a guide to stop the color there or fade the color. I'll probably actually just fade the color. It'll have a soft edge to it. So that's what I've got here, and I can now just go ahead and drag those lines away off the image for me, so I don't need them. And there we are. Okay. Yeah, that looks okay for now. Let me go ahead and get it ready to color. If I go here on the layer and click on multiply, again that makes it transparent, so you've got black line on a transparent sheet. And now I'll go ahead and create another layer, which I will go ahead and label as color. There we are, and I actually need to work on it in a color mode, so I go over here to mode, I go over here to mode and click on CMYK. So that's the color mode I will be working in. Okay, so now I can start picking colors. Just for example, go ahead and pick a blue. And here now, oh, I've got it in a fade here. I don't want that. I want a solid. Okay. Okay, so now I can start painting if I want to. Let's just say Uncle Sam's jacket. Okay. That's kind of what I'm going to do. I like to do this sometimes just to see where I'm at, just to check the color and how it's looking on the monitor and stuff like that. So that's not too bad. I think that's going to be okay. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, what I just did, and probably start over here in just a moment here. But what I want to do first is I want to go ahead and get the type put together. And the type I use, I create that in Illustrator. So what I will do is create a new Illustrator file. And let me see, I'll probably just make it about 4 inches wide by 1 inch in height. I got to give it a name, so I'll just call it Remember. And there we go. Oh no, I don't want that. Never mind. I did not want it vertical, I wanted it horizontal. So, let me try this again. Shocking, I made a mistake. Okay, 4 wide, 1 inch height, horizontal. Remember, there we go. Now create it. Ta-da, there we go. Okay, put a little grid on it there, and now I'm going to open up under File here, Recent Files. I go to the one called Alphabet. And if you've watched any of these before, I've got my own alphabet that I've put together right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy this alphabet, all the cap letters. Go here, paste it. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and reduce all of them at once, just to hopefully get some consistency. Okay, now let me go right here. The first word is remember. So I'm going to try to drag the letters I need in order on a common baseline. That's why I put my grid system up here. Copy the E. Copy the M. Okay, and the next line word is the and fallen. Okay. I will work on letter spacing a little bit more eventually, just to get it a little bit tighter the way I want it. But it's fairly close. Okay, get rid of everything else. I don't want that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got Remember the Fallen on the cartoon. If you remember the cartoon, I'll show it to you again real quick. Let me just get rid of that. The word remember is going to be over here, and then the fallen will be over here on this side of him. Okay, so what I need to do is to set this up where I've got the word remember as a file, and then the words the fallen as a second file. So what I'm going to do is create a new layer. And I'm going to copy the fallen, and that new layer, I will paste it there. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Get rid of it here. Okay, so I've got remember and I've got the fallen, and I can just put them right on top of one another if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and save this file real quick, because it won't work unless I save it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, okay, I've made the one layer, the second layer with the words the fallen, disappear, and so I've only got the word remember right now. So what I'm going to do is go here to Photoshop, go to Place Embedded, and where's remember? Right here, remember Illustrator file. Hit Place. It should come up. That's pretty good. Let's just place it right there for now. Okay. Now what I'll need to do here is I will go back and switch. I will go ahead and open up the one and close the other. So now I'm working with the fallen. So again, if I go up here to Photoshop and place embedded, find remember Illustrator file, hit place, and it should work. The Fallen. Okay. And if you can see this, one of the cool things about Illustrator, it will give me kind of a placement here. The little magenta lines you can see right there, hopefully, helps me to set it up on the same baseline. So that's kind of what I'm after right there. So once I color it in, it's going to say, remember the Fallen. You'll see Uncle Sam, the red, white, and blue. This is one of the things I like. You don't have to show the whole image sometimes to communicate what the image is. I'm just kind of focusing the idea here on Uncle Sam holding his hat. He's being very reverent. Again, Memorial Day. Everybody's going to understand this, I hope, what I'm talking about here. So kind of not connecting the dots totally for everybody. Let the viewer, put it together a little bit. You want to do that once in a while. You get the viewer involved on a piece of artwork by having them think for just a fraction of a second. And it gives them a chance to participate in the artwork as well. So that's what I'm doing here. I will go ahead and do some quick coloring just to help a little bit, help you see it a little bit. What I'm going to do here is probably on the pants. Uncle Sam's pants are going to be basically white with red stripes. But I don't like to use solid white, so typically I will use something that's very light. Usually it's going to be of a warm or a cool nature. Here I've got just a slight light yellow-gray color here. It's too dark. Let me go ahead and bring it back up here a little bit more. Okay, hopefully you can see this. And part of the hat right here, which is kind of the star of the image, the hat's going to have the solid white. So that'll pop out a little bit more once I get that to be solid white against something that isn't quite as white as it. Having a contrast of value will help push the idea of the hat a little bit. And that's what I want the viewer to see. I want them to see the hat. I want to see the pose, the position of Uncle Sam, and so forth. Okay? So this is where I'm going here with this, I think. I'm going to go ahead and do a separate layer. Get me out of the way again. Okay. Layer 2, I'm going to go ahead and do like the red stripes on his pants. I don't need to go to like the brightest red, just something maybe dulled down just a tad. I kind of like muted colors a little bit when I can. And with this being on a separate layer, I can go back in and do some erasing, get everything to stay within the lines. But hopefully I'm just going to show you enough of the base to give you an idea as to how it's going to look color-wise. Okay, there's going to be a little red stripe right there. Okay, and a little bit up here. Okay, so there's Uncle Sam's pants. Let's go ahead and do another layer real quick. I'll kind of throw in some of the blue again for the coat. That's a little bit too violet. Again, start off kind of a blue-gray color, something like this. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to do much more here on the video. You're getting the idea, I hope. But I'm going to go back in, I'm throw in some darks and some lights and push the three-dimensional aspect of it. Once I get into his shirt, which is also white, since the pants have a little bit of a warm cast to them, I'll probably do a cool white, have just a touch of blue in the white maybe, just to kind of have a contrast of warm versus cool. Okay. And that little string tie thing that I'm going to have him wear. I think he wears a bow tie in some depictions and this kind of a tie in others. And I'll have a very dark blue area down here in the shadow where the coat is. Maybe not that dark. The coat is going behind his pants. Something like this. Okay. And here inside the hat, that'll probably be dark. And the hat's pretty much going to be white as well, but you're going to have like the blue field here and the white star and stuff like that. So this is kind of where I'm heading with this illustration and this cartoon, and I'll get it done so Currents can put their paper together early so everybody can have Memorial Day off. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. That's probably long enough to bore you with this, but I wanted to show you what I was doing right now, and hopefully you'll like it, and I'll be posting the finished product here later today and some of the sketch work that led up to this. And anyway, everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend, okay? So take Monday off, go cook out, have some fun. Hopefully the weather's good where you're at. Anyway, thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, if I can turn this off.